This is the Good Government Show.
Giles County is known as Virginia's mountain playground. We have 37 miles of the New River. We have 65 miles of the Appalachian Trail. We're home to Mountain Lake Lodge, where the movie Dirty Dancing was filmed. And we have miles of trails and destination dining to come and enjoy. In Giles County, Virginia, in 2023, which is the most recent number we have, tourism expenditures were over $35 million. Direct and indirect expenditures. There's something for everyone at Disneyland. Mom and dad can do this and kids can do that. Outdoor recreation is the same kind of concept, but for a geographical destination. Good government is being responsible and responsive to the community that they're serving. Just because you've gotten to the point of frustration and anger, that shouldn't be the first time you're engaging with government. We, as local public servants, can't help fix an issue if you don't let us know about the issue.
Earlier in 2025, I attended the Building Resilient Economies in Coal Country Forum. This was held in conjunction with the National Association of Counties Conference in Washington, D.C. What I learned was there's so much good government going on in what was coal country. On this show, we kick it all off with a discussion about tourism. Welcome to the Good Government Show. I'm Dave Martin. First, help us share the message of good government by liking us and sharing us where we are on Facebook, X, YouTube, Instagram, and Blue Sky. Please share our show with your friends and review us where you're listening. And join our Good Government Show community. Check out our website for the link. So I sat down with Cora Nagy. She is the Tourism Director and Economic Development Coordinator for Giles County, Virginia. It calls itself Virginia's mountain playground, and she'll explain why that's accurate. When you think of coal country, you might think, like I once did, of rural Appalachia, folks waiting for coal jobs to return and rural decay. But there are big changes happening all across the region. If you listen to our show, you've already heard my reports on different good government projects in West Virginia from government leaders there. Well, after this conference I attended, I want to tell you, there's a lot more to talk about. And on future episodes, you're going to hear from a lot of voices. One thing that keeps emerging when I talk about the future of coal country is tourism. My first reaction was, really? Tourism? But then I heard more about it. And here's the thing. Tourism is a huge economic driver. Take, for example, America's newest national park, New River Gorge in West Virginia. The park is the site of an early coal mining operation that's been transformed to a parkland with hiking trails, rafting, and kayaking adventures, historic sites, all over 70,000 acres of new parkland. One estimate calculated the park created an impact of over $96 million spent in the area in 2023. That's a huge impact. Cora Nagy said tourism is her county's second largest industry. Percentage-wise, it's the biggest employer. Tourism and recreation, all in this area of Western Virginia. Think about it. Hotel operators, restaurants, ATV guides, trail operators, fishing guides, golf pros, local wineries, event staff, kayak outfitters. That's a lot of folks. Think about the Appalachian Trail, part of the National Park System. Over 3 million people hike the trail every year. It's the most popular walking trail in the world. So, listen to how tourism is changing coal country. My conversation with Cora Nagy of Giles County, Virginia is coming up next. Discover how leading government and education organizations are revolutionizing their operations through cloud-powered transformation. Join Amazon Web Services at AWS Imagine for Education, State, and Local Government in Chicago on July 29th and 30th for an immersive exploration of public sector cloud solutions. Experience hands-on technical demonstrations, participate in over 20 specialized sessions, and collaborate with over 500 industry leaders. Envision what's possible for your organization. Register now at aws.amazon.com/government-education/imagine, and we'll see you in Chicago. What if World War I never happened? What if these three royal cousins, King George of England, Kaiser Wilhelm of Germany, and Tsar Nicholas of Russia, chose peace over pride? Good Government Show executive producer Jim Ludlow has just released a new book. The Royal Cousins is a gripping alternate history that imagines how diplomacy and courage could have stopped a war that took 22 million lives. If only they'd used the principles of good government. Download The Royal Cousins now on Kindle. It's powerful, timely, and just 99 cents. And all the proceeds support our work here on The Good Government Show. Just search The Royal Cousins on Amazon today. Welcome to The Good Government Show, the voice of public service. I'm happy to have with me Cora Nagy, and you are the Tourism Director and Economic Development Coordinator for Giles County, Virginia, Virginia's Mountain Playground. Is that what you call yourself?
That is correct. That's exactly what we call ourselves, because that's what we are.
You are. We're going to talk about tourism. We're going to talk about tourism in what was coal country, because we were just at the coal forum, the Coal Communities Forum. And I have spent some time in West Virginia, and I have talked to people, and they talk to me about the New River Gorge National Park. They talk about ATVs. They talk about tourism. They talk about lakes and rivers, and the Hatfield and McCoy trails are quite popular. Is this a real thing that is really drawing tourists to this region? Because it seems like a big ask, a big stretch. Is it?
Yes, right. So you see the popular attractions, and you rattled off there quite a few of the pieces of the tourism, infrastructure. In Southwest Virginia and in Giles County specifically, this is my second largest industry. It's my singularly largest employer when you come to industry in the community. So from
the second largest employer. Tourism
and outdoor recreation from a percentage standpoint.
Okay.
We have...
Wow,
right. But you also, the makeup of my community specifically, we have a lot of workers that leave the community every day to either go to the neighboring county to work at Virginia Tech, the large university and employer,
right,
or other manufacturing in the Pulaski area with Volvo trucks. And so that's not the largest employer overall, but as far as in community, percentage-wise, it's my largest employer is tourism and outdoor recreation. That's grown.
How big an employer is tourism in the Coal Communities region? Probably
would need to do some crunching of numbers of, an actual, percentage or a full-time equivalent number. But I would not be apprehensive to say it's a significant employer in our communities. Seasonally, right, fishing guides and ski slope operators. But then from a small business operator standpoint, again, it's a huge number in Giles.
And what kind of jobs are they working at?
Yeah, from a tourism standpoint, think of all of the wonderful, unique hotels that we have that you're coming in to stay at. So all of your hotel operators, your restaurateurs and frontline staff, breweries and wineries, and the experience and event staff that they have there. But then more traditional recreation tourism employees are your raft and tube outfitters and the shuttle services and the fishing guides.
You spoke at the forum about tourism, and I think you threw out some numbers. I noted $639 billion.
$639.5 billion impact for the U.S. economy.
Tourism.
Outdoor recreation economy. Tourism, I would venture, is much higher.
Okay. So that includes ATV trails?
Kayaks.
Hiking.
Fishing. Fishing is huge in some parts of the country from a destination and from a quality of experience. Again, you're looking then tourism at or outdoor recreation at your trail systems. So Appalachian Trail along the East Coast is a prime example of a attraction that folks are coming in and spending money to do and have that experience.
And I think you said $35 million in tourism dollars in your county alone?
Yes. In Giles County, Virginia, in 2023, which is the most recent number we have, tourism expenditures were over $35 million. Direct and indirect expenditures.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. Yeah, for a community that has, roughly 16,000 residents, but and no interstate and no chain hotels. So we have a large percentage of our land mass is held by either Norfolk Southern Railroad or the U.S. Forest Service. So we have to create this, revenue stream, and tourism is doing its share in Giles.
And they're kind of fun jobs.
They're wicked fun jobs. You tell me I get to take you out and go kayaking and make sure you have a fun time with your friends and family and see some beautiful scenery and eat some good food that has inspiration from the Appalachian culture. Heck yeah, it's a fun job.
So last year, I believe, I went to New River Gorge in West Virginia, the nation's newest national park.
Yes.
What difference has this made to West Virginia and to the region?
So, as with many big announcements, I was very much intrigued by the cycle of excitement that came with this new national park, meaning Fayetteville and our friends there in West Virginia have seen a lot of growth in tourism and specifically outdoor recreation. But to have the nomenclature and the infrastructure that comes with the national park, that impacts way more than just the land that's in the park boundaries. And so Giles County, for example, I'm a hour and a half away from the first entrance to the park.
Okay.
But because the New River flows that whole length, and because a lot of folks coming up from the south are going to come through my community to get to this park, even our community is beginning to talk about and market and partner as a gateway to the new national park. And we're, as the crow flies, over 110 miles away. So huge impact.
And what about economically?
So, right, I don't have the data because it is a brand new park, and so I wouldn't necessarily be able to say.
But have you seen businesses open, businesses operate, business stay there, whether they're, hiking guides or kayaks or stuff like that?
Well, I think that's part of the reason that the national park made sense to open in the first place, because they had some of that momentum happening.
Okay.
I know from a lodging standpoint, it certainly helped lodging in that region because it's a guaranteed, traffic flow of customers coming to the park, and they're going to want additional places to sleep. And so
I live in Brooklyn, and one of the questions I ask everybody I talk to from West Virginia is, when's the last time you were on your ATV? And they all laugh and they all say, almost invariably, sometime in the last couple of weeks. Explain to people who don't live in ATV country how big a deal this is, like how important it is and how many people do it. So
the ATV culture is, and just that outdoor adventure on a motorized vehicle, it's a cool group of people, and maybe a way that can equate to some of our friends that are dwellers not in rural communities or outdoor meccas. Think of it as like the car culture or the motorcycle culture of your communities. Okay. And so these ATV people and families and guys and girls, they know others in this network. And so it's a constant calling each other up to see what trails are we going to hit this weekend, or where are we going to go, to try out a new trail or a new place. Who's bringing the pork shoulder to roast when we get done riding for the day. And so it's not just a matter of creating trails and having a place that folks can come and play and visit. It's this whole really cool group of people that, for the most part, appreciate the mountains. I mean, they want the fun and they want the fast and they want the mud. But one of the reasons they're doing it is because they love the place that they're playing in and riding in.
Have you been on an ATV recently?
Yes.
How recently?
Mine's probably been a bit longer, but we had, and it was
well, it is winter. Yeah. We're recording in February, March, actually.
I was going to say it's unfortunately due to some emergency response from localized flooding that, so not a fun story.
What's the best part about riding an ATV?
It's challenging, earth and mountains and the rocks. And so it's a challenge and you have to always be on your game. But then there's also a freedom of you're coasting through the woods and you're seeing the sun come through trees and your friends are in front or behind you and you're hooting and hollering and having a good time. It's creating just a good energy, but you can also challenge yourself in the same instance.
Have you been on the Hatfield-McCoy trails?
Hatfield-McCoy, yes, but the Hatfield-McCoy trail system in West Virginia, it's a extensive system, but there's others throughout the larger region.
Okay, such as?
So in southwestern Virginia, we have the Spearhead Trail System, which is actually a trail system set up. The management entity is set up by the state of Virginia. So their board are employees. And then they have trails all throughout, all the way up to Tazewell County, all the way down through southwestern Virginia.
How many miles are we talking about? Do you know?
Now of Spearhead, hundreds and hundreds of miles of trails. Then there's an outlaw trail system. And
this brings people to your region.
100%. So, for example, I have a private 1,500-acre ATV park in my community. That park alone, 100,000 visitors over the last 2 years, representing 30 states, 4 countries. They host motorcycle races throughout the year too that bring in 2,000 riders for a weekend.
Outdoor recreation and outdoor and travel for outdoor recreation is a big industry.
It's a big industry. Yep. And think of the variety of, when you're thinking of travel and other pieces, also valuable components, going to Disneyland, right? There's something for everyone at Disneyland. Mom and dad can do this and kids can do that. Outdoor recreation is the same kind of concept, but for a geographical destination. So you can come to Southwest Virginia and have world-class fishing, and then the entire family goes and rents side-by-sides, and they're out on a dirt trail having a great time. But then there's also the food and the music and, the craft beverage industry that's all benefiting from this outdoor recreation space too.
Is this an underappreciated industry?
I think so, but I also think it's because that there hasn't been a validity to the industry, and there are many organizations.
Am I helping?
Yeah, I think so, right?
Okay.
Because the more that we can talk about these numbers, the $639.5 billion impact, it's not chump change. That's an impact. And there are careers in this, and not just fishing guides, environmental educators, land stewardship. So all of these things have huge impacts on the livability of our communities and the robust experiences that we have where we live. It's very important.
And I would imagine that this is good government because there's not a lot of outlay that the government does to get these going, and yet you reap bigger benefits than you spend. Put that in your own words. Am I close?
Yeah. Yes. Right. So the idea is that government's not running these trail systems. Part of it is supporting entrepreneurs in our community to take advantage respectfully and mindfully of our natural assets.
And there's national parks and state parks and county parks, right?
Yep. All part of the bigger puzzle of outdoor recreation and tourism as a whole, especially in rural communities. Right. I mentioned earlier, I don't own a third of my land. And so it's owned by the federal government. So you have to have partnerships and relationships with those, public entities to be able to push this industry forward, meaning there's no outlay, like you said, on my part, other than building these relationships and making sure that the trail experience is safe and accessible and a good time.
It sounds like what you're saying is that the outlay that the government puts out to build and maintain this is a fraction of what you get back in tourist dollars, in jobs, and above all else, cleaner environment.
That's the goal, right? The one of the things that we lean into hard in Giles County, and speaking of good government, is we know where we live and the viewshed and the natural assets and resources. We have to take care of them as well. So we operate river cleanups and trash pickups and have a variety of things that the government helps facilitate. All of that is built into our tourism and marketing as well. We don't just want people to come just to spend money. We like it, and that helps our tax base and helps our small businesses. But we want it to be raising awareness of these places that we live and the people that are doing business in them that create the good experience that you're going to have when you come and visit.
So tell me about a couple of projects that you have created there. The New River Water Trail.
Yes.
What's this?
The New River Water Trail. I love this project because it shows a way that local government is not doing, but responding and supporting the community's needs. Meaning, in Giles County, we had 4 outfitters being fishing guides, but you could also rent a kayak and they would shuttle you to a boat landing. They had inner tubes as well, a variety of services. So 4 of them competing in a fairly small community for river goers, but they were all operating and functioning very well. And they said, we need something that we can all kind of market ourselves behind. Okay. And so 4 competing outfitters came to us and said, as the tourism office, how do we create a marketing initiative that we can all get behind? That was the New River Water Trail. The New River Water Trail signage went up, landings were built and access created in 2015. Fast forward to just a few months ago, late 2024, the New River Conservancy, which is a tri-state nonprofit organization looking at the entire watershed of the New River, received a $500,000 planning grant from ARC to help take what we'd built in Giles and the New River Valley of Virginia and really take it 3 statewide. So the headwaters in North Carolina, all the mileage through Virginia into West Virginia. That means river access points. Where can I take my own John boat and go fishing? That means safety and
how much did all that cost you?
Oh, in Giles, we spent about 20% of our marketing budget on marketing the New River Water Trail when it started.
But how much does it cost to build a New River Water Trail?
That's a really hard piece of a puzzle.
Lot, or is it
It's a lot.
Is it?
Just a singular boat landing could be over $1 million.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
Just a single SST, which is your sweet-smelling toilet system, is $250,000.
And you learned all about sweet-smelling toilets, did you?
You put that in a flood zone, and it goes up even more. So,
but you're still taking in $35 million as a result of that and many of the other things that are there.
Yes. So the New River Water Trail has been our largest factor in increased tourism and visitation in Giles County. We've seen the largest increase in the entire New River Valley of Virginia.
I had 5 minutes to do a little research before we talked.
Yeah.
And I saw that there's you get orange garbage bags to pick up trash as you... Tell me about this.
So Renew the New, another citizen-driven group that is now part of New River Water Trail. I mean, they're standalone group, but they are a true stakeholder in the river trail.
Yeah.
They host 2 river cleanups a year. They do a carcass collection for hunters in the hunting season time, and then they have put mailboxes at every one of our boat landings. We have 17 public boat landings in Giles, and in them are the orange trash bags. So if you're going floating or fishing, you are welcome to take one of those bags, collect any kind of trash you might see along your route, leave it at the boat landing where you take out, and our public service authority, our trash collection, will actually come around and pick it up.
Does that clean up the river?
It has helped. So the Renew the New has been going on for about 14 years, and we have some great numbers out there of used to be, when we first started, how many thousands and thousands of pounds of tires we would take out, or the trash collection. Now we get to put 700 people on the river every year. We're doing it in April this year. And not saying there's nothing in there anymore, but there has been a visually significant reduction in trash in the river.
And as a fan of the music of Jimmy Buffett, I understand that my fellow parrot heads have jumped in to help. Tell me about this.
So the parrot heads were actually instrumental in a project in Colorado on the Yampa River. They facilitated the feasibility and conceptual design for an in-river whitewater park, river access improvements, and riverside amenities there.
This is in Colorado.
Near the city of Craig in Colorado.
Wow. All right. Yeah. So they jumped in and helped out.
They did. And I think that's
Party with a purpose.
Party with a purpose, but that's what your community should be doing. You're living in a community because you might have a job there, but you've chosen to live there because there's something you like to do, or there's something that's pretty to look at, or there's a good place to eat. And so if you can enhance that by joining a parrot head group that says, hey, we like this idea, let's do this, or a Rotary Club that's going to manage a mountain biking park, like an example in Montgomery County, Virginia, government should be empowering these organizations to help steward our natural resources.
So when someone says, tourism is going to be the next big thing in West Virginia and Western Virginia, don't laugh. It's real.
It's not the next big thing. We're on par with some of the other traditional economic development announcements that have happened in Southwest Virginia over the last 10 years. So we're a part of the puzzle, and we're not going anywhere, and it's going to continue to do good and be good.
All right. Now we're going to come back and we're going to hear your real thoughts on government.
Okay.
All right. The Good Government Show is sponsored by Our. That's OUR for our community. Get involved. We hear that all the time from government leaders. Our co-brands with your government's name and logo. Your staff and the people you serve are connected and part of your community. From any device, your members provide reliable data and meaningful feedback. Ask a question like, do we want more parkland or better homeless services? More engaged conversations come through the Our app. Visit Ourco, that's OURCO.com, and book a demonstration. Once you wrap up this episode of The Good Government Show, give a listen to our friends over at Good News for Lefties. This daily podcast highlights news stories that show there's more good news out there. Other people in government are really trying to do the right thing. That's Good News for Lefties. Listen where you're listening now. 10 years, I think you said, as the Giles County Tourism Director and Economic Development Corporation. 10 years, right?
10 years, yeah.
10 years. Define good government.
I think good government is being responsible and responsive to the community that they're serving.
It's just that simple.
Just that simple.
And
it does not have to be complicated.
Why do people make it complicated?
Oh, because people are people.
Okay. All right. There we go. When people feel frustrated with government and it's not being responsive, what should they do?
I think part of the overall issue with frustration with government is a global unengagement of government, meaning we typically don't hear about frustrations until frustrations have mounted. They're engaged with your county administrators, county commissioners, elected officials. Just because you've gotten to the point of frustration and anger, that shouldn't be the first time you're engaging with government. We as local public servants can't help fix an issue if you don't let us know about the issue.
So what drew you to public service? I mean, with your background, I'm sure you could be, the general manager of a swank hotel somewhere.
Oh, well, no.
What drew you to public service? What made you get into this?
Because there's something about looking at a community and looking at ways that we can bring people together and make good stuff happen. I got into this gig over 10 years ago because my previous work was doing community viability. So taking good people's ideas and making them something. And so my goal was to take the strategic plans or the tourism development plan and make them happen, implement them. That could be my role in being a good public servant, was making things happen.
Did someone inspire you to do this?
Oh, you have. I mean, I've had plenty of mentors throughout my life. I will say my current county administrator, Chris McLarney, has been a visionary in what local rural government should and can do. And so he's certainly been a guiding light for me.
10 years working in government, what would you like people to know about government and how it works?
One, it's never, even though you said earlier, it's just that simple. It should be.
However,
but the truth of the matter is, not. It's really not. And we all can get frustrated at processes and policies, but they're there for a reason. And so what I would love for kind of the general public to know is that we're all human beings and we're all doing good work, or that's the goal and the hope. But things take time. And unfortunately, applications and permits and the pieces of the puzzle that we have to check the boxes for to make things happen in our communities, the good ones we keep plugging along, but it takes time.
What's the best part of your job?
Serving my community and, going fishing and kayaking the New River.
I was going to say, do you get out of the New River? Do you take the boat out?
We do, right? Yeah. So part of my tourism and marketing hats that I wear are hosting and doing visits with writers, and so that public relations piece. So the goal is bring the writers in and have them have a great experience, and maybe we're in Gun and Garden next month or something.
So you bring writers and reporters out to go fishing and kayaking?
We do.
We'll talk.
Yep. Cue the bald eagle that soars across the river. Or
all right. What's the hardest part? What's your biggest challenge?
The capacity. We're a small team and a small staff, and we want to do all of the things, but at the end of the day, there's just so much time and so much mental capacity to make those things happen on a local level.
Did you always see yourself getting into public service?
I worked in historic house museums before and have kind of touched into and that was with the National Trust for Historic Preservation Sites. So I've always had this, I guess, more like a not-for-profit public service bent on the things I've done. But as far as did I ever see myself doing this? No. No is probably the most honest answer.
All right. Okay. So you are the manager. I guess that's not the right word. You're certainly overseeing New River and environment, outdoor environmental activities in your area. What do you do for fun?
I love antiquing. I'm a big history buff.
Right.
So I will travel for a good flea market or a good antique store.
Okay.
And then while I love my mountains and my trees and the flora and fauna of the New River, I like the beach as well. So I enjoy.
What's your beach?
Lately, it's been Hilton Head Island, South Carolina.
All right.
So nice, easy drive down there. It's pretty.
Head down to the Caribbean or out to Hawaii?
I've not been to Hawaii.
All right.
So if we need to do a follow-up interview.
Okay, we'll check into that. All right.
The Caribbean is a place near and dear to my heart. Love going to the Dominican. This summer, finally went to Antigua. Super fascinating island in the Caribbean as well.
So you are the tourism director and the economic development coordinator for the county. Tell me about your agency. Tell me something about your agency that people don't know.
So I'm not even an agency. I'm actually a department of our local government.
Okay.
We have the Industrial Development Authority, our IDA, which actually employs our county administrator. And then they have a relationship with the elected Board of Supervisors. And so the Tourism Office and Economic Development Office is housed in the IDA. But then my department, Department of One, mind you, is fully funded by the transient occupancy tax. And then we have special project budgets for traditional economic development activities.
This is the Good Government Show. We always bring it back to good government. Tell me about a good government project that you're proud of, that you did.
I think the New River Water Trail is that example. We heard feedback from taxpayers in our community, business taxpayers in our community. We created this thing, the New River Water Trail. We utilized our capacity as a grantee through VDOT grants, through Virginia Department of Transportation grants, CDBG grants to create boat landings and river access points. We empowered the Renew the New committee to continue having their river cleanups, and we partner with them by donating PSA time and roll-off trailers to collect the trash. And now, moving beyond our Giles County borders, we're sharing this idea and encouraging our regional commission to take over the development of what this looks like in the future, and supported the New River Conservancy with this planning grant to take the good nugget that we have of the New River Water Trail and make it a substantial 3-state water-based trail. All
right. Give me a 10-second plug on coming to you to do outside activities. Give me your quick ad.
My thing?
Yes.
Our thing?
Yes.
Right. So Giles County is known as Virginia's mountain playground. We have 37 miles of the New River. We have 65 miles of the Appalachian Trail. We're home to Mountain Lake Lodge, where the movie Dirty Dancing was filmed. And we have miles of trails and destination dining to come and enjoy.
What's the best thing to eat there?
So the Palisades restaurant is a tried and true favorite. Their spicy shrimp dip is great, but they also have a rainbow trout dish that is really good too.
Is it trout they caught in the New River?
Farmed in the New River Valley.
Okay, all right. Cora Nagy, the Tourism Director and Economic Development Coordinator for Giles County in Western Virginia, not West Virginia, Western Virginia. Thank you so much. I will reconsider tourism to the Cole County region because I think it's important.
It is.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
County government affects more people than any other form of government. That's why we like talking to so many representatives of county government here on the Good Government Show. They are the voice of public service. The National Association of Counties, or NACo, supports all 3,069 counties across the USA. This year, their annual conference is in Philadelphia in July. Plan to attend the conference and join them in their efforts to bring good government to America's counties. Check out the details at NACo.org. That's NACo.org. After you get done with this episode, hear more good government stories with our friends at How to Really Run a City. Former mayors Kasim Reed of Atlanta and Michael Nutter of Philadelphia and their co-host, journalist and author Larry Platt, talk with guests and other mayors about how to really get stuff done in cities around the nation. Check them out where you're listening now or through their nonprofit news site, thephiladelphiacitizen.org/podcasts. Did you hear that? $639 billion spent in outdoor recreation in the entire U.S. A staggering figure. That's a lot of money. So clearly, tourism dollars make a huge impact. It was good to hear from someone who's helping to bring new people into the region, and she's right. ATV trails and ATV tourism is bringing people to the region, and I liked her explanation. They want the mountains, they want the mud, but they're on their ATV to see the natural beauty around them. In just one example, Carnegie shows what can happen. At one ATV park, 100,000 people visited the park from 30 states. That's real economic impact, and it's an impact that's being felt throughout coal country, and it's changing the region. Coming up, you're going to hear about solar energy farms, reclaiming downtowns and supporting small business. That's future stories of good government. Well, that's our show. Thanks for listening. Please like us and share us with your friends and review us right here where you're listening. And check out our website, goodgovernmentshow.com, for extras. Help us keep telling stories of good government and action everywhere. Join us again for another episode right here. I'm Dave Martin, and this is The Good Government Show. The Good Government Show is a Valley Park production. Jim Ludlow, Dave Martin, that's me, and David Snyder are the executive producers. Our show is edited and produced by Jason Stershic. Please subscribe, then share us, and like us and review us. That's the best way to make sure we're able to keep telling these stories of our government working for all of us. Then listen to the next episode of The Good Government Show.